Alabama gets revenge on Vanderbilt with a win against the Commodores, and this one was super entertaining. We're going to take a look at the game and talk about what exactly happened in the Crimson Tide win. Now, things didn't start off very well for Alabama. In fact, the first drive, Ty Simpson throws an interception, and you're probably thinking, okay, here we go again. This is going to be a game where we struggle. And then, to make matters worse, Cedric Alexander on the ensuing drive goes 65 yards for a touchdown to put Vanderbilt up 7-0. Compounding those mistakes, Alabama missed a field goal and in the second quarter, and then things kind of turn in their favor. Vanderbilt is driving down, so if you're an Alabama fan, you're probably wondering what is going on. Why are we not able to get stops? Why are we not able to move the ball? And your defense comes up big. Diego Pavia is running, and you force a fumble. On the next drive, you get a nice pass from Ty Simpson to Ryan Williams. You also saw Ty Simpson's legs get involved, and it wasn't just scrambles, it was designed runs. They ran like a triple option look, which is really cool. Also talks about what this offense is capable of under Kalen DeBoer. I think that was a huge thing for Alabama to keep Vanderbilt on their toes. It helped him avoid pressure as well, like we've seen before, and it ultimately leads to the touchdown. Alabama was getting a ton of pressure on Diego Pavia pretty much throughout the entire game, so that also helps. It's a big reason why they were able to stay in this game, and they were able to hang on until their offense was able to kind of pull away and take care of business. Now, Cedric Alexander does score again with 133 left in the second quarter on a little shovel pass that they ran earlier in the drive. That was a nice play design. I really liked that one. Vanderbilt goes up 14-7, but Alabama, just like they did against Georgia, made some plays of their own. 17 seconds left in the first half. Jeremy Bernard has a 27-yard touchdown from Ty Simpson, an absolute rope for Ty Simpson, who we're really learning a lot about. We are learning a lot about Ty Simpson and what he is capable of doing. We're learning that this is a guy who is very confident, and we saw that today. 23 of 31 for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception, like we saw. Ryan Williams with some nice plays as well. Dive more into him here in a little bit. Then the second half, you get James Smith back from the suspension for the targeting in the first half, and it really felt like this Alabama team took control. The defense pretty much negated anything Vanderbilt wanted to do, and that really led to Alabama's ability to pull away in this game and come away with a revenge win. You saw some field goals that were clutch in the second half. You had a 38-yard, you had multiple 30-yard plus field goals to give Alabama that lead. And then it was really what I think one thing that really surprised me was the rushing attack. More on that here in just a second. But Ryan Williams showed that he can still make big plays. That was a question we had about him coming into last week, this week, and we saw a guy show us, hey, we are capable, or I'm capable of making these plays. That is going to be extremely helpful for Alabama in the future, and it's going to make them very dangerous. You also saw Ty Simpson again throw those strikes, just throw nice pass after nice pass. And you also once again see Caden Proctor get involved in the rushing attack in the offense. So much fun to watch that. But that rushing attack is really what we saw today. When they needed to move that ball down the field in the fourth quarter, they went to the rushing attack. At the last field goal they got from Talty, they were running the ball really well. They obviously put Proctor in there too, and that was really fun to watch for this team. Jam Miller, a big game, 22 carries for 136 yards and 1 touchdown. We've been talking about Alabama's lack of a running game for most of this year, and today they showed us that that is still very much a possibility to be a factor. They can still get the running game involved, and that's going to help them, especially in the SEC. They need the rushing attack to give them that complement. So if you're looking at this game from an Alabama fan, you clearly feel good about this. Your quarterback is exceeding a lot of people's expectations. Your wide receivers are going to be extremely dangerous. And that's really fun. Your defense stepped up in a big way too. Now, if you're Vanderbilt, this is a team that still has a lot of poise, a lot of confidence in what they do. They truly don't get the moment doesn't get too big for them. Now, it came down to talent today, and Alabama's talent clearly won out. But this is a Vanderbilt team that even when they made mistakes in the first half, they bounced back, and it was still a close game. The final's 30-14. However, it's not going to really reflect that if you watch the game. This was a closer game than 30-14. It was just Alabama pulling away in the second half and truly getting that revenge. If you're Vanderbilt though, you have to feel pretty good. I think Diego Pavia had some uncharacteristic plays that resulted in 2 turnovers, but you saw a number of big time weapons that were making some key plays, and you just didn't have enough in the tank. Ultimately, you struggled to stop Alabama in the second half. 486 yards of total offense for the Crimson Tide, and you really just didn't do enough to slow them down. But there's not really much to be upset about other than that, right? You still feel good that you went on the road and played a team tough, and they scored a late touchdown to make the deficit even more. So it's not like this was a blowout loss by any means. Vanderbilt is still very much a good team. They just have to find ways in that second half to create more plays. Cedric Alexander had that 65-yard touchdown run at the beginning of the game. He also had a 4-yard reception. So that's one thing that's really nice. However, with his rushing, he had 65 yards on that. After that, he ran the ball 3 times for 11 yards. That's obviously not going to get the job done. That's not going to put you in a position to win, but this is still a tough team. And for Alabama to win 30-14 says more about Alabama's emergence and newfound confidence than it does anything on Vanderbilt. But overall, you have to feel really good if you are Alabama. If you're Vanderbilt, there are still good things to take from this. There are still good things that you should feel good about. And honestly, with Pavia's turnovers, the one turnover, he doesn't turn the ball over, they're probably scoring a touchdown, and they're probably putting up 7 points instead of 0, or at worst putting up a field goal, and that puts them at up 14-0. And maybe Alabama doesn't score on that next drive, so it's also just a what if. But I think overall, Vanderbilt is still very much going to be a tough team. They are still a good football team. It's just that they came up short today, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're just not the better team. You're not the most talented team, and you unfortunately come up short. It is what it is. That's what makes college football so great, is that anybody can win on any given day for the most part. And in the SEC, that's very much true. And when it comes to Vanderbilt, Alabama, this could have gone either way. Vanderbilt plays a lot tougher than the score really indicates, but there are still good things to take from it. And really, if you're Alabama and really the SEC, you might want to be worried about Alabama. They found their running game. They have their quarterback. Their wide receivers are basically taking turns. Ryan Williams, 6 catches for 98 yards. Jeremy Bernard, 5 catches for 82 yards. Isaiah Horton, 4 catches for 66 yards. This team is proving that they have balance. This is a team that also, in the last 2 weeks, has dominated their competition and kept them in check. That is an alarming thing for a team that at the beginning of the year we kind of counted out, and all of a sudden they look like a team that could be extremely dangerous in the SEC for the rest of the year.